See you, Soul.
Yes.
Hey, good morning, beautiful souls out there. We are going live now with a beautiful soul for a new SoulCare Liveclass, and her name is Dora Varga van Loon. And she's coming up right now for our newest SoulCare Liveclass with today's topic: how to create lasting changes with heart. Hey Dora, I'm gonna go live with you, clicking yes. Happy that you're here. Yes, there you are.
Good morning. Goedemorgen.
Hey, good morning, beautiful being. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for the invitation. I didn't have a sound on my phone, so now I actually managed to get it. So now we are all set.
Good.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm really so honored to have you here and to be with you here this morning, and excited because today's topic is going to be how to create lasting changes with heart. And I believe that this is, well, you are the right person to share this with us. And I would love to give a bit of an introduction for everybody coming on, being here live with us, who Dora is and how, we got to be here today together. And but before I dive into this introduction, I would love to kind of give a bit of an outline for people already live now, but also for people watching this later on our social medias, because it will be recorded and posted again. So just for you, all of you people new here or people that have been with us, these SoulCare Live classes always start with a talk, and there's a bit space for Q&A. You can always share whatever you'd like to share. If those are comments or questions, feel free to type them in the box below. And afterwards, you'll find all the show notes and info also about Dora and our guests today, Dora, in the show notes underneath this post and video. Also, Dora has prepared a really special exercise for you today, for us. And this will be at the end. So we'll dive into a talk and we'll have an exercise for you. And this is a bit of the outline for today. I would love to start now with giving you an introduction, Dora. This beautiful soul, beautiful, heart-centered, amazing, inspiring woman. She's a heart-centered visionary, and I really believe that you are really something special, and I'm really grateful for having met you and being in my life the way you are right now. You are like a driven change maker. You are a life and business alignment coach, which is something really unique, and I think it's so strong. You help a lot of your clients and beautiful people getting to that alignment that so many people long for, especially in these times. And you do this mostly for women. You have proud roots in Hungary, where you're from, but you're a well-traveled soul, both spiritually but also literally around the earth. And you're a proud mom and a proud wife of the beautiful people around you. And you're, well, as I said, a world traveler, and currently living in the Netherlands, actually pretty close by here, which is really awesome. And if I may say, I think your in-depth journey, of which we'll dive a bit into today, and of which I probably don't even know everything, but I would love to. But the things that I know about you and your journey, I think you are super, yeah, you mesmerizing in the way you've walked through life and the way you right now share your gifts with the world and your clients. Um, you are the founder of Shift to Shine. And if I understand it right, this is an academy of heart centered feminine leadership. So this is like, boom. It's so beautiful how you put this into the world. And yeah, if I understand it, it's your mission to assist as many women as possible. And yeah, I would love to ask you if I said it all right, and if I maybe have left out on anything, would you like to maybe start with a little comment on that?
Thank you so much for the amazing introduction. I even get goosebumps, and I think that the expectations are rather high after this introduction that you just given. I'm honored to be here, first of all, and thank you for taking this time with me today so that I can share a little bit of inspiration, maybe motivation, a different view, or maybe the same view that we all have or that we are sharing. And that we can care a little bit today more or an extra about our soul, about our mission, business, and life as well. So I think that how you introduced me was correct. And I do indeed coach and help women to live their best from their heart. This decision wasn't that specific in the very beginning, although I have received really clear visions about me helping women. I was resisting it, like, hey, come on, why women only?
Yeah.
But then later on in my journey, I have recognized that, okay, even though there is a movement towards like feminism and equality and, you know, a balance between men and women, there is a big difference between standing in your feminine power and standing in your masculine power only or mostly as a woman, and even like reducing what we have as gifts in ourselves. So that's where I connected to my own wounds. And then later on, I realized, okay, we really do need to step up women first so that men can also show up in their true nature, in their true power, and so that we can be a little bit more in balance in the world.
I love it. Thank you so much for elaborating on your mission and also the belief that you're. Well, I didn't even ask you about your belief, but I think you shared a bit of a start in there. Thank you so much for that, because it's so strong, it's so powerful. It gives me goosebumps, just like you said, on how deep your message is. And it's an honor to maybe be here today with you and hear more about it. And before we dive into how, you know, what today's topic, how did it come to be, and I would love to acknowledge the people also here listening with us today. So I saw some people coming on live, and I saw Roos, Harold, and Rakros. Thank you so much for being here. Amazing to have you here live, and also thanks everybody that takes the time out of their busy schedules to be here with us, even today, but also later, you know, checking out this live class. And also you, dear Dora, for taking out this time out of your busy schedule, being here with us today. It is amazing, and you just shared more on your mission and how that came to be. So before, you know, diving into today's topic, I would love to also know, how did your mission, you know, what is the drive or your belief behind it? Because it was so beautiful how you just put it.
Yeah, so it's quite a long story.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I could write something about it. Sometimes I think about it because
yeah, maybe you should.
yeah, it's good. It's on my dream or wish list for in the future. But
Yeah.
First of all, me coming in touch with changes and changes in general, I wanted to clarify what we are going to talk about today and what is creating a lasting change. What is a lasting change, like in general? A lasting change to me and in general is something that we create and is also like there for a longer time. So it's not a crash diet, it's not a start up, it's something that where we create the right foundation and we stick to it, so that it stays, it remains for a longer period of time until that becomes the old and it needs to shed away, and then we create a different foundation. So it's extremely interesting that all of us, I am truly convinced that all of us fear changes. Anyhow, so in some level in our life or in our business, in our relationships, or in anything materially or internally, but there are areas where we always fear changes, and this fear of change is natural because we want to protect ourselves, we want to protect our safety. And so me coming in touch with change was actually already at a very young age, because at a certain point in my life, I was, as a child, I was swimming and dancing and doing different kind of sports, just like many of us did. And then I had this long hair, like today, this is the longest that has ever been ever since. And then we decided to cut it really short. But that kind of like caused a change in me where I didn't really know who I was. Am I a girl? Who am I? And I didn't like myself, how I was at that point. And then I actually stopped sporting and I stopped doing the things, and I got a little chunky and fat. So I put on some weight. So very early on, I started to realize I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be dissatisfied with how I look. So I started to actually change the way I eat or the way I move. But what I have recognized in that 10 plus years when I was struggling with weight loss on and the yo-yoing of everything is that every time when I was starting it, I achieved it, then I stopped and I thought, oh, we are there, and now I can go back to the old habits. So see, that's not a lasting change. And I was really dedicated to create the change on the outside, but I was not aware that the change first had to happen in the inside. And so fast forward, I was traveling the world and I used to work in tourism. I met my husband and I decided to move to the Netherlands. And here I took on a job that really didn't align with me. So I was always ambitious and I always knew what I wanted. I knew from very early on that I wanted to create happier lives, that I wanted to create a sustainable world. I wanted to show people how beautiful this world is. And to be honest, for the longest of time, I thought with tourism, I was creating it. And then there was this moment when I was sitting in the office and I realized, well, actually, the company is very money driven. They don't care how people feel. They don't care how the experience is. And I'm kind of swimming against the current. And that's when I recognized, okay, I am busy with surface level solutions. And there is something more deeper here. And I have to dig deeper. So in that time, I first started to look for other jobs. And then I recognized, okay, I realized I am not finding anything that excites me. And that scared me. That scared me a lot. And I thought, I was asking around with friends and some people who I knew, like, okay, what is life about? What am I supposed to do? Because from the outside, I had this beautiful life. I was married. We had everything. We were traveling every month. So I felt really abundant, but very empty from the inside. And so I stayed in that sorrow and that fear and that anxiety, which took over me. And then I had physical symptoms, mental illnesses, emotional chaos, and initially a total disconnection that I have felt when I landed 5 years ago in a burnout. And that was my rocket fire. That was the best thing that could ever happen to me. So if anybody who's listening is struggling with anything or have bigger challenges in your life, I know at the very moment when you're in it, it's really, really challenging to see it as a gift. Luckily, even at the deepest of my moments, I could connect to myself and see, okay, certain things I have to feel, experience, know, and go through now, but this is actually all for the better.
Mm.
And that's where I actually started my personal development journey, and I got in touch with how to create lasting changes. So I could heal my physical body, my emotional body, my mental health, and come more and more and more in touch with my heart, my truth, and my purpose here, and which I actually wish for everyone. And it's so possible. We just need to know how to get in touch with ourselves instead of looking for it outside.
Thank you so much, dear. It really, like, your message is about how to create lasting changes with heart, but it also really touches me deeply in my heart right now. So I'm touched by your words, like your honesty. Also, your thank you so much for sharing parts of your road there, right? Of your journey, because we can all resonate also to the parts like you just shared, not knowing who you are when you were a kid, or putting on weight. I mean, I know I've been there for a couple of years, and I know that all of us know what that is like. And also, the core of what you just shared is you can find ways outside yourself to, to know that you might need to change, or how the change can be, but then implementing it, integrating it onto a level that your mind understands it, that your soul, or let's say your heart understands it, and then also that you physically understand it. That those are that's deep work. And the beauty of what you just said is that it is possible for all of us. I also believe that. And you just shared such an important message there on how painful it can be on the lowest of the lowest moments, of the deepest parts of ourselves, where we can find ourselves sometimes. And to hear your message of hope, and you know like you even you shine so bright saying it. It is beautiful, and it's an yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. um Before we dive into more of this, um you just shared already a big part of one of your wake up calls, maybe, or like you called it this, how do you call it, like a fire or a rocket, like it boosted you as well, the burnout in your case. In my case, this was having the first shock of MS, like falling down and having my body not functioning the way it used to, and other wake up calls. I mean, I had a lot because I made a lot of mistakes. But mistakes are, in that sense, always the part of the learning curve, and they're so important. And I don't see them as mistakes anymore. I used to, but now I actually, when you look at them as fire starters, or if you look at it like this beautiful way of shifting in order to shine like you do with your work and your message. um, yeah, this is something that really resonated so deeply. So I'm also looking like this topic of how to create lasting changes with heart. How would you connect it to wake up calls, or to your wake up calls? What could you maybe elaborate a bit on that?
Well, yeah, so actually I believe, and now I actually that I have researched it for over 5 years now, I know that we don't necessarily need our whole world to collapse to create changes. We can have that collapse inside us, so that we squeeze the juice out of life, and not that life starts to. So about I am also a manifestor in bond. So for me, when I am in that responding and waiting for things to happen, that
sorry
things
to
are not going
sorry to stop you, but there was a bit of a glitch in the in receiving the info that you just shared. Would you share it again, because I heard you say something really beautiful about human design and manifester. Would you start over, please?
Yes. So we are going to go into depth, or we're going to mention a little bit about the tools that I'm using, which one of them is human design, which really had helped me, and more of who I really am, which I'm a manifester and an investigator at heart. And my soul is really someone who wants to help others go through changes, break through bigger, see changes.
We just lost connection for just a little bit. Hope to get back in a sec. In the meanwhile, really, really grateful for all of you being here. Thank you so much, Rachel and Content Broid, that you also joined us. Dora's back again, and we'll invite her on. Yay! There you are. Thanks, dear. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear me well?
I hear you well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much. It was just a bit of a glitch in connection, but we are all connected anyway. I heard you start on how you're a manifester and using some tools on human design. But before we go into tools and resources, maybe just a bit of a recap on how you, Dora, already shared so much of your journey, and also how you do this and combine all your knowledge in work. And we were talking about today's topic, how to create lasting changes with heart. And you just shared already a little bit on what the topic, how it came to be. Maybe also how your journey got you here. Seeing that the connection also right now just switched a little. Not sure if you can hear me. So Dora especially shared. There you are again. Okay, going live. So you, Dora, shared so many things about wake-up calls, which we dove into. And yes, there you are. Can you hear me now? You cannot hear me? I cannot hear you either. Let's see. Not sure. I'm just gonna see if I can find Dora and ask you to go live with me. Maybe that will work. I think I hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you well.
Oh, thank you so much, dear. And
Never had this before, but I just told you before we started this live, like we were like technically a little bit like checking. Okay, was it quite some time for you that you had this live before, and then for me it was the first time, and I was checking like whether the connection was working. But I also told you, whatever happens.
mm-hmm.
We just go with the flow, and for some reason we had to break up sometimes to realign. So I think that's also something that happens to us a lot of times in life, that we kind of lose our track, and that we have to go back a little bit, so that we actually know where we are really going towards, that we align. And so your question was really to tell you, or to tell the audience, to share the audience where I'm actually coming from to talk about changes.
Well, yes, I was just doing a little bit of a recap for everybody listening, and I was kind of doing the recap on how you shared, where you come from, what your journey has been, and you already shared a bit on one of your wake-up calls, and because you were so open into diving into that with us, I was actually wondering, before we go into into advice and tools and resources, would it be okay for you to kind of elaborate on how, when it comes to today's topic, how to create lasting changes with heart, the moments that you have been on your wake-up calls, what does it really mean to you now that you've found how to do this? What does that mean? What did it give to you,
Yeah, so this is a great question. When I was in my burnout, I started, and just tell me if you can hear me.
I hear you.
So if everything is right. So when I was in my burnout, I luckily go and take personal development courses, and I got help by different coaches and psychologists and other people, and also family friends who were supporting me. But the most important thing was that I finally started to look for the answers inside first.
Yeah.
Parallel, I wanted to I realized very soon after my life-changing course that I attended at UPW with Tony Robbins, the only story within, I have recognized that okay, I don't want to work for anyone else. I never actually even wanted. It was a great playground to test out how it is to work, to follow someone. But what if I start to follow what's inside of me? And I also connected to the fact that, okay, I was young. I felt that I was already reaching quite some success in my career, and I didn't know where to go forward on the ladder, other than becoming my own boss. And so when I wasn't healed yet, I already started my company and companies. So I had a dropshipping company. I started a startup in tourism to create sustainable changes of how we travel.
Yeah.
And all of these were from the right intention, but still were connecting more with my head than with my heart. And so where life and business needs to align is that we first need to look for the answers in ourselves. And especially if you are listening and you are thinking, I want to start my business, or I want to get to the next level in my business, or I want to take care of my life better.
Yeah.
Then we need to realize, and that's why I love the fact that there are so many coaches outside starting to do the work, starting to facilitate really transformative changes that we actually all need, and that we collectively start to realize that we need to wake up and stand up and do this together. Because I was also always trying to do things on my own, like, okay, nobody tell me what to do, I can figure it out on my own. And I actually have connected to the fact that I thought it was supposed to be like that, that I was otherwise a failure if I haven't managed to figure out what I want on my own. Yeah. Whereas really getting the right support doesn't mean that they tell me what to do. It just means that they facilitate certain exercises, questions, tools, so that I can unwrap myself. Mm-hmm. So these lasting changes, sometimes it can be scary for people because we are so clinched to believing in who we are in a certain moment. But now I understand we get to be whoever we want to be. Mm. And it's always a choice. Yeah. It's always a choice how we show up, what we believe in, and all these beliefs. And I'm pretty sure that you had other guests talking only and exclusively about limiting beliefs before me, have already explained that limiting beliefs are already here and actually only here to protect us. Mm-hmm. And they protect us from in a certain situation, which is great. What we don't recognize and realize is that we outgrow them. Mm-hmm. We carried them with us for such a long time, and they were supportive at a certain time. So if something happens with me right now and I react in a certain way, I fight or flight or freeze. Yeah. Even handling these glitches here on Instagram, like how do I handle this situation, might support me now. But maybe in another situation, I might be blocked by the same way of handling this situation. So these changes, I want to clarify that the change is not like you changing yourself. In the core, you are who you are and you stay who you are. Mm-hmm. What happens really is coming closer to the core and to the essence, and to really see what's below all these layers that we put on ourselves throughout our entire life, because it's not only childhood, it's happening all day, 24/7. Yeah. So I attended all these courses, and I first thought I'm just going to do these things, and then I'm like, graduated and I know everything, and then this field is going to be my new terrain. And then I recognized, well, there is so much more in here. And even after the first personal development course that I attended, I realized I don't know how to live. And if I want to create a business, I connected there to two of my visions. One was creating a sustainable world, and the other one was helping women connect each other, connect to themselves. And now I understand these two are very connected, because once we women stand in our power, and once men also stand in and integrate their feminine power too, then we can heal so much more in the world. Mm. So whereas in the beginning, in 2016 and 17, I was building companies out of my head for profit to create a different type of income. Yeah. Soon I realized this is not how I wish to see the world, because there is plenty of that. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we need to be the change that we want to see. I was anxious about the way we live, or the destruction that we see, that I see outside in the world, and I'm sure many of us feel the same way. But then I started to realize, well, that system that we have created, I cannot fight that system. And also, like society, as a lonely fish, sometimes, of course, I can create demonstrations, and one person can create quite a wave. Yeah. But I started to peel that down into community, and then family, and then at the last layer, I was like desperate to tell my friends and family, like, okay, this is how things. This is an amazing information. It's such a golden nugget. I wish you also know this and implement it in your life. But then on the last step, I realized I have to first truly connect with myself